Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille show. My name is Jerry Miller. It's good to be with you on a Wednesday. Thank you kindly for joining us. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. Looks like for the second straight week, we may have been faked out by the governor, Ralph Northam. We'll have that story for you. COVID vaccinations hitting UVA Hospital and its health system. December 15th, our friends of the program, after yesterday's show, have reached out to us in droves. 3,000 people with UVA Health System frontline workers at the hospital are going to get the needle in the arm on the 15th of December. 21 days later, they get the second shot. The vaccine is coming. The vaccine is coming. The vaccine is coming. Folks, we have skaters. Yes, the kids that wear Jenkas. Are Jenka jeans still a thing? You guys remember Jenka jeans? The jeans that had the super wide leg? Skaters were wearing Jenkas all the time. Is that still a thing? Let me know in the feed, please. Let me know if Jenka jeans are a thing. Anyway, skaters in Charlottesville are lobbying city council. They're wearing their beanies. They're kicking the hacky sack back and forth. They're trying to do an ollie in the dais in City Hall. The skaters are lobbying city council to keep the skate park open. City council is trying to crush the dreams of 11, 12, 13, and 14-year-old boys and girls in Charlottesville that just want to be outside. They have to learn through a screen. They want to be outside on a skateboard, having fun. They're 11, they're 12. We have a battle of epic proportions between skaters and Charlottesville City Council on the I Love CVille show. How about no boozing after the COVID vaccine? This is scaring the absolute hell out of me. The speculation coming out of Russia, and yes, we take it with a grain of salt, it is Russia, but Russia is telling its citizens, when you get this vaccination, you cannot drink for an extended period of time alcohol. Is that something that's being discussed? How will that influence things? How will that influence your decision making if you're told you cannot drink for an extended period of time if you're going to get the COVID vaccine? How is that going to impact the economy if you can't booze when you get the COVID vaccine? How's that going to impact beer, alcohol, and liquor sales? We'll talk about that on the I Love CVille show. Dr. Fauci, Anthony Fauci, Dr. Fauci, he's skipping Christmas. Dr. Fauci says, nah, dog, I'm like Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis and John Grisham skipping Christmas. I ain't doing it. I got 3 daughters all over America. The families ain't getting together. Fauci skipping Christmas. That story on the I Love CVille show. And Amazon's opening up a distribution center, a distro center in Waynesboro. Amazon is leasing the old Kmart in Waynesboro and is opening a distribution hub. I'm gonna say it once, I'm gonna say it again. Waynesboro, Virginia, now with an Amazon distro hub on the very near horizon, is turning into a very appealing place to live, especially for millennials and younger. You have a housing market that is 40% more affordable, at least, than Charlottesville. You got young professionals moving there left and right, and job opportunities springing up like this Amazon distro center. And with internet becoming ubiquitous, reliable like Ting Fiber, a sponsor of the I Love CVille network, a partner, with internet becoming more trusted, a place that has a cost of living 40% minimum lower than Charlottesville is going to appeal to a lot of people. We'll take a deep dive into Amazon opening a distribution center in Waynesboro. A lot to cover on the program. Crystal Napier, she makes us smarter. She's vivacious. She's charismatic. She's awesome. She's well-connected. Crystal Napier, owner, Renee's Boutique. She's going to join us on this program in about 12 minutes. Lee Elberson, Chief Executive Officer, Clayborne Education, back in the saddle on the I Love CVille show to talk education. Albemarle County's going virtual. Moms and dads in the county, how you feeling? I feel, man. I feel for you. I'm having a conversation. My buddy Mike, he's a father of 2. He's got 2 kids in elementary school. He said, we're starting to feel, we're starting to get in the groove. We got Albemarle County in person. My kids are back at school. I'm able to work again. I'm not relying on my mom to virtually teach my kids one day of school. I'm not asking my son to do virtual PE where he's being told to pick up a red ball and in front of a computer screen during physical education, throw it from one hand to the other. And my buddy got so irked and frustrated with go grab a red ball from the toy chest and throw it from your left hand to the right hand that he said, no more of this. I'm going to do PE myself with you, son, outside doing something physical. So he got in the groove, his family, with kids back in school. Now it's been taken back. County virtual. Winter sports postponed to January. Anyone think we'll have winter sports at the high school level? Anyone? I don't. You know what the crazy thing about this is? We haven't seen the true data of Thanksgiving and the surge from Thanksgiving holidays and COVID yet. The true data of the impact of Thanksgiving has not arrived of what this holiday has done to this virus. The terrifying thing is Christmas, Hanukkah, and the week between Christmas and New Year's often leads friends and family to get together for longer periods of time than Thanksgiving. So we are all realistic people that use common sense to go about our lives. If Thanksgiving, which is a shorter aggregation, a shorter period of time of people getting together when compared to Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's. If Thanksgiving is causing a spike, what is Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's going to do? So you can make a legitimate argument that we are about a month and change away from the deepest, darkest time of COVID-19. Mid-late January, flu season, frigid, cold, nasty, 2-3 weeks away from New Year's. We'll talk about all this stuff on the I Love CVille show. I think the lead of today's program needs to be Governor Ralph Northam. Speculation yesterday, after he announces to the press that restrictions were on the near horizon, the governor faked us out again. For the second straight week, the thought was more restrictions. And the threat looms. Governor is like the kid on the playground during recess, Ralph Northam. And this kid on the playground during recess, he's the kid that goes around saying, hey, I got a secret. I got a secret, little Bobby. I got a secret, little Susie. I got a secret, Chris. And he just runs around and taps people on the shoulder. I got a secret. But he doesn't tell them what it is. 2 straight weeks, the threat of massive and more restrictions from the governor, and nothing has happened. We'll follow that story closely. The COVID vaccine, put it on screen, hits the health system on the 15th of December. 3,000 hospital system workers get the shot, get the needle. 21 days later, after December 15th, they go back in for the second dose. More vaccines coming in at the end of December for more UVA health system employees. This is good news. This is great news. Great news. Charlottesville? Come on. We need a little something to cling to, no? 15th of December? I mean, heck, it's the 9th. 6 days. 3,000 hospital workers get the first shot? Nice. Dude, this is a story that I really want you to follow. And Jesse Rutherford, friend of this program, Board of Supervisors, Nelson County, someone tagged Jesse Rutherford. Jesse Rutherford is A+ people. Someone tagged Jesse Rutherford on the show. Nelson County, get it on screen, please, J-Dubs. Judah Wickhauer, our fabulous director. Nelson County broadband internet partnership with Firefly Fiber Broadband Keith Smith has talked about this on his show, Real Talk. Folks, by the end of 2024, Firefly fiber broadband internet will be universal, ubiquitous, and available across the county of Nelson. If you want to do some speculation, some investing, if you want to improve your quality of life, if you're looking to try to build some wealth and try to increase some savings, listen to this, please. Nelson County, the municipality, is one of the most fiscally conservative counties we have in our area. They are sitting on stacks of cash and paper. They know how to run a business in Nelson, in a municipality. They're rolling out ubiquitous, reliable, and attainable internet across Nelson. They have land and housing that's more affordable than Charlottesville, that's still in close proximity to CVille and the epicenter of employment. Now with this option of Firefly fiber broadband internet across Nelson, you can work from anywhere at your house in Nelson, making bank from the city, bank from Northern Virginia, bank from New York, wherever your job, your place of employment is. You're working virtually from your house. You couldn't do that before in Nelson without trusted internet. This makes this county much more lucrative from a bullish potential standpoint. Look at the prices of the land. Look at the prices of the housing stock. Compare it to what you can get in southern Albemarle County at a place like, take a look at Whittington, 5th Street Extended, not far from Nelson. 10, 15 minutes south side, Albemarle County, from Nelson. And look at the delta in the cost of land and the cost of housing stock. With the internet being reliable and ubiquitous in Nelson, this county is going to have a boom. A boom. Some will get ahead of this and make some bank. Watch. Watch it come to fruition. Crystal Napier in about 3 minutes on this program. Folks, the skaters from the skate park that are about to have their hobby shut down band together on a Zoom call and lobbied city council. We're talking 11, 12, 13, and 14-year-old children, boys and girls, clad in beanies, Jenka jeans, hacky sacks, and hoodies. All right, I made up the attire. I have no idea what they were wearing. I do know that there were kids lobbying city council to keep the skate park open. I respect civic engagement, and I know some folks think the public parks should be closed. But when you close the public parks like the skate park, the only thing you're doing is hurting disenfranchised, disenchanted children that don't have economic resources. The public parks are where you go when you don't have the money to go to a pay-for-play environment. So closing public parks only hurts poor kids. Certainly much orders of magnitude greater than kids that have economic resources to do other things, pay for play, that remain open. So Jenka, beanie babied, hacky sacking, skateboarding, 11, 12, and 13-year-old and kids in Charlottesville, keep lobbying city council. Learn some civic engagement. I love that you're getting it along the way. And maybe you'll get what you want, and they leave the skate park open. 2 more items before we get to Crystal Napier. 3 more items. No boozing if you get the COVID vaccine. This, according to the New York Post and what Russia is rolling out to its citizens. This is something we should follow. Now, you take anything that comes out of Russia with a grain of salt. But right now, Russia is telling its citizens, you can't drink for 2 months after you get the COVID-19 vaccine. I take something that comes out of Russia with a grain of salt. It's a communist country run by a dictator. But if this, in fact, is true, and you can't booze for 2 months after you get the COVID-19 vaccine. Do you understand what that means? That means COVID demoralized, depressed, and downright just destroyed restaurants. And the vaccine, if you get it, and if it's true you have to wait 2 months before you can drink, that's going to cause a 2-month window period of time where everyone thought the vaccine was going to cause a boom for restaurants, hospitality, food and beverage, vineyards, and breweries. A 2-month no booze window when you get the vaccine will impact that boom period we were all expecting following the vaccination of America. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know if this is true. I take what comes out of Russia with a grain of salt. If you do have to, in fact, wait 2 months before you can 2 months before you can booze after getting the vaccine, that will impact the economy. That's like freaking all the businesses that are suffering right now, extending their suffering 2 more months. Next topic, Amazon's opening a distribution center in Waynesboro. They're leasing the old Kmart space. Waynesboro is becoming a Tony. I can't believe I'm saying this. I cannot believe I'm saying what I'm about to say, but I genuinely mean this. Are you ready for this? Waynesboro, Virginia is becoming a Tony and happening place to live. If I had said that 20 years ago, and I'm not knocking you, Waynesboro. I know you watch the program. I love you, Waynesboro, and I love you, the Shenandoah Valley. But 20 years ago, Shenandoah Valley, no one in their right mind would have said Waynesboro was a Tony or happening place to live. And that's the freaking truth. You know that's true as well, Waynesboro. Now, it's the opposite. The tree streets in Waynesboro are bona fide. Amazon's opening a distro center in the old Kmart location. That means jobs, jobs, and more jobs. Anthony Fauci skipping Christmas. Last story before our friend Crystal Napier. Fauci's like, nah, dog, I'm going out like Jamie Lee Curtis and Tim Allen and skipping Christmas. Give me the Speedo. Give me the tanning bed at the mall. Give me no holiday lights outside at Christmas. I'm not putting Frosty on the roof. Yes, the kids from the neighborhood can knock on the door and demand Frosty get outside, but Fauci's skipping Christmas. He ain't seen his 3 daughters that are spread all over America. Judah, I'm reaching out to our friend Crystal Napier as we speak here. Give the show a like and a share. Andre Xavier, hello. Welcome to the program. Priscilla Jones-Rucker, hello. Crystal Napier, hello. Kipasa, how are you?
Cary, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. This is my favorite backdrop yet. I absolutely love what you got going on here. Tell us what's behind you.
So, of course, I have my lovely dress tree for Renee's Boutique, getting in the Christmas spirit over here. And I have the sample of the gift wrapping service I'm offering, as well as showcasing a couple of the bundles that we have on our website at Renee's Boutique LLC. And this lovely wrap, I'm actually giving it away this Friday for the Freebie Friday. I've been doing mini holiday pop-up shops. I'm not sure if you've seen it on social media, but that's up until the week of Christmas. So it's been pretty fun.
Crystal Napier has become a social media wizard and ninja. She is absolutely fantastic with building a brand. She's the visionary behind Renee's Boutique. Crystal, the show is yours. I am following your lead. Who are we spotlighting today?
So I'm talking about Dr. Natasha Knight, and it's funny that you complimented my social media because the young lady that I work with for Renee, I hired her to help me out with Renee's Boutique. She's my graphic designer, Channing Gibbs, who is amazing, by the way. She actually connected me to Dr. Natasha Knight, and Natasha is a multi-passionate entrepreneur. She's extremely educated. She has a master's in public health, as well as a PhD in social and behavioral sciences from Johns Hopkins. And she just finished up her MBA from the University of Richmond.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? I told her when I was talking to her, I was like, you make me feel exhausted. I have no idea how you're keeping all of those balls in the air. And her businesses that she was working on, she is the co-founder of Taking It Pro. It's a career and professional development service firm that she's created with a business partner. And this firm is focused on helping women of color be energized, bold, and relentless in achieving career success on their own terms. And she was just kind of telling me a little bit more about that business, as well as the Discover the Remarkable You LLC. That's another one of her businesses. And all of her businesses encompass about just helping women feel good in their own skin and emphasizing our strengths. And one thing that we talked about that I was really drawn in on was she was talking about helping professional, successful women overcome the imposter syndrome. And I said, imposter syndrome, what's that?
What is that?
Yeah. So it's a syndrome of having feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, which hinders all of us, from opening up to our full potential of what we can succeed. And she said she's seen through her studies, she's seen this a lot in women that are already successful, powerful executive women that still have these hidden insecurities because they are so used to maintaining a certain facade. So she basically has created a business on making us all feel very comfortable in our own skin in order to achieve success. So it's a really cool concept. She's actually launching, I believe in 2021, she'll be launching a self-care subscription box where she's going to collaborate with other small businesses. Hopefully Renee's Boutique, her and I talked about that, to provide a self-care box to ladies every month, and just talking about celebrating you. We don't realize how awesome we are for just being the individual that we were created to be. So it was really awesome to talk to Dr. Natasha Knight. I highly recommend that you bring her on your show because she's just a phenomenal woman. I don't even feel like I can truly give her all of the justice that she's due today, because she's so multifaceted, and she has so many awesome and incredible ideas, visions, and the work that she's doing is really going to make an impact on her community.
That was amazing. Okay, a couple things from that. I think you absolutely have done Dr. Natasha Knight justice. Second thing, absolutely anything Crystal Napier says we do on this program, Dr. Natasha Knight is 100% coming on the program. And third, I love when entrepreneurs come up with concepts that better mankind. And right now, because of COVID, we know that we're feeling down and depressed and uncertain. And we also, and it's unfortunate, but it's a fact, COVID-19 has had more of an impact on women than it has on men. And it is so unfair, but it is a reality. You look at the numbers, more of the child rearing is falling on women now than ever before because of COVID. More of the staying at home is falling on women than ever before because of COVID. Women are not climbing the professional ladder at the clip that they once climbed because of COVID, because they're not getting as much face time with their bosses in the office. I mean, this could have a generational impact here. Anywhere you want to go on this topic, Crystal, I mean, I think Dr. Natasha Knight has got a great concept, something that fosters self-confidence and self-worth at a time when where that may be lacking a little bit is brilliant.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jerry. And I definitely think it's a brilliant concept. and going to help so many different professional women out there, and not just professional women, because I know for a fact the hardest job in the world is being a stay-at-home mom. I've had a lot of jobs, but that by far has been my most challenging job. And so I think it's going to help a lot of women realize, their full potential, and how we can, and just kind of how we can honor ourselves, because I don't feel that we as women do that enough. Like, we are so consumed in the day-to-day making things happen that we don't take time to reflect on how much we've accomplished and just how amazing we really are. So I am so excited to be connected with her, and I think we're definitely going to collaborate, and I'm going to definitely lean on her, with her expertise, for myself personally, as well as the business aspect too, to continue to help lift ladies up and keep our confidence forward.
I love it. I love the direction of where this is going. Crystal is fantastic. She creates content and adds to this program every single Wednesday. I was having this conversation with my wife. She said the hardest job I've ever had in my life is being the stay-at-home mom to this boss baby 2.5-year-old kid we call Trey. She says every day is like Groundhog Day for me, where I'm like waking it up and it's like the same thing and I have to do similar stuff every day. She goes, I just need a moment or two for myself to get some self-care, to take a bath, to put on something nice, to do my makeup, just some time to myself so I can like catch a breath. And I'll be straightforward. Seriously? I think sometimes I feel like, and in fact, I know I do this and I need to work on this. Sometimes I take for granted all the hard work she's doing with our son at home, because my life necessarily has not changed nearly as much as her. I'm going to a company that I created at a job that I love. Yes, I'm working harder and longer than ever before, but her life has gone completely upside down. Can I ask you a very real and raw question? I mean, you're a young mom as well here. Can you put in perspective that vulnerability you've been feeling during COVID as a young mom?
I'm not sure if I can articulate it exactly, but it's been a lot of anxiety there. And part of my anxiety has been, we decided to put Micah in preschool this year too. And that created even more anxiety than it was, with me trying to stay at home and balance that with running my business. So it's just been a lot of anxiety, a lot of prayer to try to keep myself centered. But, I'll be very honest and vulnerable here to say, Sean has gotten so much flack from me, especially when we put Micah in preschool. I was ready to give up my business and everything. Like, no, he's going to stay home with me. But I will, give credit to the preschool that he is at. They have been very accommodating with answering our questions, and alleviating some of the concerns that I have had, as well as doing their very best to practice safe social distancing and trying to keep the kids healthy and safe. But I really have. I've been that helicopter mom since
us too.
This all started.
Yeah, us too. Completely. I know exactly what you're talking about. Is Mike? Sean's her husband. Micah's her son. Is Micah wearing the mask? We're trying to put Trey in a little 2-year-old mask, and he'll wear it for like 30 seconds, and then just like pull it off.
So I actually, and I haven't put them up on my site yet, but I got Micah a face shield with the sunglasses. And he digs it, like, so, because he can see directly out of it, like, so he doesn't really know it's there, and he likes to wear sunglasses anyway, and he keeps that on, like, he'll even play with it on. But the preschool, he typically doesn't wear anything. They don't have the kids wear anything, but all of their teachers and staff stay in masks all day. but yeah, the kids, the younger kids, I haven't really seen the older kids there, but the younger kids don't wear masks.
I would love to see that face shield, because I bet you those things would sell gangbusters, especially now. Let me throw this to you here, and I think I'm gonna ask all guests this question moving forward. Would you feel confident and comfortable taking the vaccine when it's available to you?
No, I don't feel confident and comfortable with that. I actually, it was a question I asked to Mercy Best, who you had on your show, because she is a scientist. And she said, they're still running a lot of tests. It's still a lot of unknowns. So I can understand your uncertainty with it. It just makes me nervous. I mean, but the flu vaccine makes me nervous too. Because in the past, I actually caught the flu from getting the vaccine, but I know now that they don't have the live virus in the vaccine. And so I got it last year and didn't have any problem, and we're planning to get it this year. So yeah, it's just, I don't feel comfortable with it, but yeah, I don't know on that one. I'm not too certain just yet.
I respect that. I love everything about this interview right here. She is fantastic in the setting. How about Renee's Boutique? How can we follow? What's on the schedule? How can we engage this holiday season with Renee's Boutique?
Yeah, so our mini holiday pop-up shops, the videos are posted every morning at 8:45. So you can check those out. And our freebie Friday, if you want to win this lovely wrap, that is going to be Friday morning, 8:45 a.m. I post the trivia question. Whoever answers correctly first is the winner. So you can either put it in the comments on the post directly or send us a direct message. And you can check out my website at reneesboutiquellc.com. And we have some awesome holiday bundle gift sets already posted to the website. And as I said earlier, I'm offering a gift wrapping service to make your holiday shopping super easy.
You were awesome today. Seriously, Crystal.
Well, Jerry, I really appreciate this opportunity to be on the show. And you truly have made a difference in making me comfortable with this. And so thank you for this opportunity.
Our pleasure. And I will 100%, after the show, I'll reach out to you, and then we'll do the connection with Dr. Natasha Knight.
Sounds fantastic.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Right. She is awesome. I love Crystal Napier. I really like the evolution of what's happening with our Wednesdays with Crystal. Like every Wednesday that we've gone, I feel like the interviews are better and better and better and better. And when we asked her to do Wednesdays with us, we already knew she was super talented because she's come on the network in the past. But every Wednesday, Crystal's come on the program. The interviews have gotten better and better and better. And I will welcome Dr. Natasha Knight to this program, creating a business model around empowering, driving self-worth and self-confidence is brilliant, because empowerment, self-worth, and self-confidence are three feelings that have been diminished for many of us during this 2020 period. Self-worth and self-confidence, value, offering to the community. What's your role? How do you find your niche again? People are asking these questions. And Dr. Natasha Knight, I really love the self-care box idea, where you get a monthly box subscription-wise, and in this box, something you can look forward to as a product line or a sampling of a product line. A sampling of a product line for self-care, self-worth, and empowerment, focused on women, a demographic that's been diminished and set aside during COVID, more of the child-rearing responsibilities on the shoulders of women, more of the virtual and educational stay-at-home learning responsibilities on the shoulder of women, climbing the professional ladder and moving up from a promotional standpoint. It's going the opposite direction with women in COVID. And just do a simple Google search to know what I'm saying is facts. How do you climb the professional ladder if you're not getting FaceTime in the office with your boss and you're working in an old boys club like finance or banking? How do you climb the professional ladder when you don't get FaceTime with your boss who determines whether you get that promotion and you're working in an old boys club like insurance, accounting, engineering, architecture, science, app development, technology? Serious conundrums. Reaching out to Lee Elberson now, Judah Witt-Cary. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Clayborne Education. A lot to cover with Lee on today's show. Sean Napier, I love you, Sean Napier. Lee Elberson is on the line. Oh, Lee, you got a new backdrop.
Office is on version 4, man.
I love it.
It's not quite done yet. As you can see, I have this really amazing map back here. It was a map made in the 1940s, and I found it at my grandfather's old boat shop. So I'm going to put that up on the wall along with some more artwork from my dad.
Very cool. Stay Spicy behind you. You know I got to ask you about Stay Spicy. You know I got to ask you about Albert Einstein, who's got a big influence on Lee Elberson. Before I do, why don't I give the man some props for looking dapper? I mean, he's got a fresh shirt right there. Did you just recently manicure the beard and get a fresh cut? You're looking sharp.
Well, Jerry, you know, before you prompted me to come on the show, man, I had a beard this big and I was laying on the couch, man. So, you know, this shirt looks freshly pressed because I probably haven't worn it in, I don't know, 5 months.
Lee Elberson, crack a joke. What's Stay Spicy behind you? He's got a box behind him. Are those hot sauces?
Dude, see, look, this is good promotion, man. You're going to love this. So Clayborne, tomorrow we're starting to shoot our own Hot Ones. Have you ever seen the Hot One show on YouTube? So these are some of the sauces we're going to use, going from like all the way to the left to like, oh, this is great, to the one on the right is called Da Bomb Beyond Insanity, and it usually makes people cry. So we're going to be shooting a video where people ask us test prep questions, and we try to eat hot wings with the sauce on them and still answer the questions. So be on the lookout next week when we release the video on our social. It should be funny.
That's brilliant. That is a brilliant idea. Are you going to be eating the wings, Lee?
Dude, you know I'm the one who got recommended first. For some reason, people think that since I'm from Louisiana, I can take spicy food, but I've tried that middle one.
Yeah.
I mean, my eyes were watering. I was blinking uncontrollably. So it's going to be an interesting experience.
The reason they included Lee in the wing contest is because the dude is a cool guy and he likes to have some fun while working hard. All right, Lee, let me throw this to you, my friend. Anywhere you want to go with an open-ended question first. Education in a COVID era changes every day. And to put this in perspective, winter sports at Albemarle County, they had practice on Monday. On Tuesday, they were told to get off the court. Your season's not going to happen till the middle of January now. They had 1 day of high school sports practice. It just shows you COVID-19. Anywhere you want to go, can you give us an update on what you're hearing and feeling when it comes to education in Central Virginia?
Yeah, so I think it's important to look at like how the pandemic has affected the different education stakeholders. So if you think about like from the students' perspective, I think by and large, what we're feeling from students who are doing virtual learning right now is they're fatigued. They just don't have any more energy left. They can barely muster up like the minimum amount of motivation. And I think a part of that is it's not just the fact that they're learning virtually, but most of the students that I've asked, we've surveyed about 100 Clayborne students, most of them are not changing their personal screen time. So they're still looking at Instagram and they're still looking at Snapchat and all these services the same amount of time. Now they've just they've doubled their screen time because now they're in school for that. So I think that's a big part of the sort of fatigue they're feeling. Then you have the parents. I think the parents, especially the ones that we've surveyed, if their students are in virtual school, not only are they stressed, but they're confused about like how much is my child actually learning, right? Like there's a certain amount of possibly grade inflation happening, and I think the parents are feeling the stress. They want the students to get back in person, but they want it to be done safely. And I think, the parents want to get back to their own routine, right? Like if the parents are having to do some of the schooling and some of the school management, I mean, the parents have jobs. They have their own things they need to do during the day. So they want students to go back to this routine. And I think the final stakeholder is the educators. It's the teachers. It's people like us. We're feeling stressed and discouraged about the lack of engagement from students, right? We know it from the students' perspective, but most of the teachers I've talked to, they're sitting there staring at a screen, and not most of the students have their microphones and cameras off. So it's really easy to sort of feel like you're not making any impact because you don't have any way to measure retention, right? Like, how do you know if your lesson plan worked or not if none of the students are engaged? And so I think all in all, it's just there's a lot of confusion and stress happening from the stakeholders.
I have so many questions for one of the smartest guys in Virginia, Lee Elberson, the Chief Executive Officer of Clayborne Education. All right, I'm going to throw rapid questions at you here. How does virtual learning happen if the students on the other end can turn off their cameras and microphone? That basically means they can do whatever they want.
Exactly. Right. I mean, we at my company, when we do a virtual meeting, everyone is definitely required to have their camera on. They can obviously turn it off from time to time if they're eating or something, but like that's how you're ensuring that like somebody's paying attention to you and they're not looking over and they're playing games or something on the side. So, I understand, why that's such a lax policy, but I think it's almost impossible to measure. You can't measure, yeah.
The next question is cheating. Is cheating rampant?
That's a tough question to answer. I don't think so, because I think the standards have lowered more than the cheating has gone rampant.
Understood. Okay, here's another question I have for you is, do you think that the SATs will be done virtually?
So there was some discussion that the College Board was going to try to put into place a take-from-home test, just like they did with the APs back in the spring. They were going to try to launch it for December, and then they pushed that deadline back to next year. My feeling and the discussions I've had, there's not a lot of emphasis on pushing that forward, because I think that they have been able to administer the test sufficiently so, and with increasing numbers, that they feel like once the tests start to resume in the fall, in February, that they will have even more in-person students taking it. So I honestly don't know if that's a high priority for the College Board or the ACT for that matter.
I understand. So do you think that could lead to the eventual elimination of those tests?
I think I said this before. The fact that the College Board and the ACT didn't jump on like trying to administer the test just however they could. They seemed a bit, sort of laid back about it. Made me think that they must know something that I don't. And I think what they know is what we're seeing now. I talked to a counselor this morning. I've talked to a few counselors both on the admission side and on the college preparatory side. Some colleges are seeing a 40% increase in their admissions. And without the filtration mechanism of a standardized test, granted, standardized test has a ton of biases, but without that filtration mechanism, you actually need more time per application, and unless you double your administration staff, what's probably going to happen is you're just going to have less time per application, which means there's going to be a large amount of variance, right? The students are going to be thinking, why did I get in and my friend didn't get in? I have no idea why.
So you're basically saying, I love this guy. I love that you get me thinking all the time. You're basically saying this: without a baseline of an SAT or an ACT, for example, that baseline allows for immediate filtration, goes to the yes pile or to the no pile. And then once they're in the yes pile, they get vetted even more, but it helps them create a yes and no pile a little bit faster.
Yeah, I think that's overly simplistic. I don't think it's as easy as a pile, but I think it comes into the conversation. And I think even before that, a student will look at a school and say, oh, man, they're usually looking for students with a 1400. I've got a 1300, so you know what? Maybe I'll apply to one of these as my reach school. But imagine if I said, hey, Jerry, you know what, man? You can apply to Harvard. You don't have to have an SAT or an ACT score. Then, a lot of students want to go to Harvard, so they just might as well all apply. And so I think even that test number, which is the score range, filters out students from even applying. And you can certainly argue that that's a good or a bad thing, but that's why the admissions numbers are changing in the way that they are.
Lee Elberson dropping knowledge bombs on the show right here. I love when this guy does this. Throw this to you. Have you read research at all of the impact this school year will have on the generation of students? Is there any, it's so early in the process, I understand that. Is there any early stage research or projections of what could happen from this with the kids?
Yeah, there's a lot of research going on specifically at UC system, and there's some research going on at Cambridge. Early research doesn't look good. In the most pessimistic view, I'm a bit of a pessimist, right? This is going to affect the education system for decades. And I think, what we're seeing here is, let's take Virginia, for instance. We've suspended SOL requirements for this school year. So, granted, again, just like the SAT, teaching to the test is probably a bad thing, but how are we measuring efficacy, right? Without that and with potential grade inflation, I think it's almost impossible to try to go back to normal. Let's say the vaccine, everything gets put in, and then fall 2021, it's hey, let's go back to normal. Everybody's going to go, you can't. The students that were at grade 9, maybe they're only at grade 9.6 now, so they don't fit into the old system. So I think this is gonna, I don't know how they solve the problem. Again, as I said many times, I hope we use this as an opportunity to sort of throw out the playbook and rethink how we're educating students with improved emphasis on discovering vocation earlier, right? Some students don't think about what they want to do until they're a junior or a senior. They should be thinking about that much earlier and let students realize, does your vocation require you to go to college? Do you need a 4-year degree? Would a 2-year degree? Should you go work first and then go to college after you figured out what you wanted? So I'm hoping that school systems do that. And maybe more specifically, look at a hybrid model, maybe in a couple years, of saying, hey, look, we're always going to do asynchronous work on Fridays. All Fridays are going to be virtual, and maybe Mondays are optional. And then that'll allow flexibility for students, for parents, for teachers. And we've learned what works well virtually and what doesn't work well. And so that's what I hope happens. But
Lee Elberson is in Fuego right now on the program. Here's the final program for you. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Clayborne Education. And you've touched on this already, crystal ball time. Fall 2021. We're talking end of August, early September. What does the school year look like?
Well, I think for independent schools, for private schools, probably not much difference. That most of them have been able to maintain in-person sessions. By the way, I don't know if we still need to resolve our bet. Remember the FUMA versus Renaissance debate? One of us, I think, might owe the other one push-ups, so we need to think about that. For public schools, think about it like this. Think about the practice thing. If my crystal ball doesn't go out that far. My crystal ball only goes out a week now.
Right.
So I think that this summer is going to be very busy. I think we need to see an increase in the budget for the school systems to help prepare teachers for an impossibly difficult fall 2021. And I think we need to put a lot of leniency on what we expect the students to learn this year. Again, maybe this shifts everybody back a half a year, right? Like you're in grade 9.5 moving into next year, and then we'll just figure out what that means for career trajectory. Because, the sad part is if independent schools are on the same track and virtual schools are on this track, you're going to see a bigger separation, and we don't want that to happen. So I think we need to, get some smart people in there. They have smart people in there. Put together some task force and figure out what the best way to measure efficacy is.
Remind me of the terms of the bet, my friend.
Well, we bet on which school would go virtual first.
Okay.
And actually, my assistant asked me that before this, and she's like, "Hey, who lost the bet?" And I said, "I don't know." So you bet on FUMA, I bet on Renaissance, and I thought Renaissance would stay in person longer, and you thought FUMA would stay in person longer. I don't know if actually either of them have gone virtual yet, but as soon as one of them goes virtual, the other one of us owes.
No, whoa, hold on. I know FUMA is in person. Is Renaissance virtual or in person still?
Actually, maybe it should be your job to find out.
Okay, all right. See, I think I won the bet. How many push-ups?
Okay, I'll find out for you, my friend, and I'll do push-ups. By the way, you also owe me a congratulations. I got married since last time I saw you.
Congratulations.
We ended up getting married October 10th at Common House. Very small wedding, not what we expected, but it's COVID, and we actually couldn't imagine another way.
Are you going to do a big shindig later? Is that the plan? Who knows with COVID?
Yeah, that's what we told our moms. Because
Right.
our moms were like pushing for hey, we're going to do something in 2021. I was like, sure, great, yeah, we'll see how that works out.
Lee, this was refreshing. I appreciate your time. Thank you for the knowledge today.
Happy to talk to you, my friend. Have a good one.
You too.
I'll catch you up about Renaissance.
Text me. I know FUMA's open. I don't know about Renaissance. You have a good one, Lee Elberson. Great guy right there. I know FUMA's open. Yeah, how about that? That was just, the whole interview with Lee was just like knowledge. The whole interview was just knowledge. So you have no SOLs, no SATs, no ACTs, no standardized tests for public schools, no standardized tests. You can learn virtually, and you can be at home with your camera turned off and the microphone turned off. And you're in your bedroom, and the PlayStation and the iPhone are all right there. Oh, COVID, man. COVID. And we've talked about this all year long. What's going to happen when private school kids who are learning the same way they've always learned enter the job force at the same time when public school kids are learning in a way they've never learned before that may be not yielding the same results of their private counterparts? What kind of impact is that going to have? You know what the kind of impact that's going to have? It's called furthering the class system, furthering the socioeconomic divide, furthering the racial divide. Give education to rich kids. Make poor kids learn in a struggling new format. COVID, man. Cool. Real cool, dude. Couple more items out of the notebook. There's a 2.8 million massive crib in Cary town in Richmond that just sold. This thing is a behemoth, 7,100 square feet, one of the marquee locations in the city of Richmond, a brick Georgian of tremendous proportions. I mean, look at the screen. 5,111 Cary Street Road, sold for 2.8 mil. I mean, the house is just, it's got a circular pool in the backyard that will absolutely take your breath away. And one of those elliptical pools where it's like an infinity pool on the edge of the yard. 2.8 million in Richmond. Two more topics. A handful more topics before we get out of here. Tonight's basketball game between UVA and Michigan State was postponed. It was set for 9:15 on ESPN, a matchup of two top 20 basketball teams. COVID is running through the UVA men's basketball team. Matchup against Michigan State, Tom Izzo, no more. Tonight. This is my hope, and I've said this for months on this program. My hope is we just make it through the basketball season. We have a team in UVA that has national championship talent, one of the deepest teams Tony Bennett has ever had in his tenure in Charlottesville. We just need to hope we can make it through this basketball season. Mike Krzyzewski's Duke Blue Devils, they lost to Illinois last night. You know what Mike Krzyzewski of Duke said in the press conference after the loss to Illinois? He said, I don't think we're doing this season right. Maybe we should put it on ice. That's what Krzyzewski said. Maybe we should put the season, college basketball, on ice for now. Let's just hope we get there. Virginia Tech's football coach might get fired if UVA football beats the Hokies on Saturday in Lane Stadium. Justin Fuentes is on the hot seat. Hokies have lost 4 games in a row. UVA's won 4 straight. Commonwealth Cup Saturday. Hokies 2.5-point favorite. 8 p.m. kickoff, ACC Network. If Justin Fuentes and the Hokies lose, that head coach very well could get fired. And the very intriguing thing, and why you saw South Carolina hire Shane Beamer last week. Listen to me closely, Virginia Tech fans, ACC fans. Why you saw South Carolina, the Gamecocks, hire Shane Beamer as their head football coach in South Carolina last week is because if Justin Fuentes loses this game to UVA, he's going to get fired, potentially, and Virginia Tech would have made a run at Frank Beamer's kid, Shane, who played football in Blacksburg, who was a coach at Virginia Tech. That's why South Carolina hired Shane Beamer mid-season and canned Will Muschamp, because the Hokies would have made a run at Shane. 8 o'clock kick Saturday, 2.5-point favorites, Virginia Tech. Dude, I really think COVID's going to kill high school sports. The kids were practicing on Monday, high school sports. On Tuesday, they found out they could not practice anymore, and the season was going to be delayed until January. We are a month and a half away from the deepest, darkest times of COVID-19. And the deepest, darkest times of COVID-19 will 100% be mid to late January after New Year's, Christmas, and Hanukkah, when we spend more time together than ever before, than any other holiday. That week with Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, we all know it. Mid to late January is going to be the deepest, darkest times. High school sports, winter, I don't see that happening. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see it happening. Save $288 on Ting Fiber Internet. We use Ting. It's the best internet in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. We use it to power this program right here, Ting Fiber Internet. We have an opportunity for you to save $288 on Ting only through ilovecville.ting.com. That's the URL to save $288. ilovecville.ting.com. Good show today. Lee Elberson was in Fuego. Crystal Napier is just A-plus people. Renee's Boutique, LLC.com. Crystal Napier is A-plus people. Don't forget the Daily Digest. 5 o'clock, 5 days a week, 5 minutes or less. The I Love CVille Daily Digest, Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock. Comments. Put the comments in the feed. That's a good idea, Jessica. All right, let's get to comments. Ooh, Lee, we know Christelle is dropping knowledge for us, Lee Elberson. Fork Union Military Academy is still all in person. Not one case of COVID-19 at Fork Union Military Academy. They just started an extended holiday break with some virtual learning. They return on January 20th to campus. Dude, legit. Christelle, you made us better today. Thank you. CNO's Director of Catering, on point. Lee Elberson, I have a feeling you lost that bet. I have a feeling, Lee Elberson, you're going to be doing some push-ups on the I Love CVille network. Lee Elberson, I bet you can bang out 50 push-ups, no problem. 50 straight push-ups, no problem. Dude's jacked. I mean, he's like Vin Diesel, Fast and the Furious era, Lee Elberson. Andre Xavier, Jerry Miller, ask if business owners have received any money from the Rebuild Virginia grant. My application was turned down due to funds running out. Gosh, I'm sorry to hear that, Andre. The Rebuild Virginia grant? I should ask that question. So, Andre, is your question that I should ask when business owners come on the show whether or not that they received any money from the Rebuild Virginia grant? Is that the idea? Because that's a good suggestion. I will do that. I'll ask folks their comfort level of getting the vaccine, and then I'll ask them that question as well if they're a business owner. Andre Xavier, good idea per usual. Jessica Davis, Judah, this is a good idea from Jessica Davis. Have you considered making your show more accessible with closed captioning? That is a good idea. How do we do that? Does the closed captioning automatically show up on Facebook pages? I think it does. Am I wrong on that? I know it doesn't show up on personal pages. Does the business page, the closed captioning show up on a business Facebook page? Someone let me know. Richard Needham. Renaissance is in person. Lee Elberson. Richard Needham says that Renaissance School is still in person. Darren Pisciotti. I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name, Darren. Lee Elberson is an amazing interview. Love listening to him every time. There's two questions for you, Lee, here from Darren and Richard. Is in-person tutoring going to be available soon? And how do you continue to motivate a student after all these months? Seriously, how does a teacher motivate a student? Did you hear the fact that Lee threw out in our interview? Students are still using their phones, are still logging screen times on their phones, Snapchat, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, at the same clip they've ever logged, the same frequency they've ever done. On top of that, they're expected to spend hours each day on a computer virtual learning. So the mental fatigue from screen time has been compounded by the educational virtual learning because they're not curbing the use of this device, the iPhone, and the social media engagement. Dude, I talk about this with Dr. Wagner, Scott Wagner. Give Scott Wagner, chiropractic and sports medicine, some love. Partner of this program, Dr. Wagner, Judah, of Scott Wagner, chiropractic and sports medicine. Let's give him some love there. Okay? I talk with Dr. Wagner about this all the time. You know, there's a generation of students. I'm talking human beings that are 18 and under that are developing a thing called text neck. I'm seeing this with my kid. Sometimes mom and dad just want a break or need to take a bath or take a shower or make the bed or take the dog out. So what do? Oftentimes, I don't know if you do this. This is what we do. Don't judge us. We don't do it all the time. We say, watch a little Paw Patrol on your phone, on daddy's iPhone. Watch a little Blippy on mommy's iPhone on YouTube. Watch a little YouTube videos, kids, okay? While we take this 10-minute break to do this work around the house. Do you ever look at your kid when he or she is on the phone watching YouTube, watching Blippy or Paw Patrol or whatever the hell your kid watches on YouTube? Do you ever look at your kid? Your kid, go on a one shot with me, Judah. Your kid is doing this. Literally sitting on the bed, hunched over, neck down, phone in your lap, shoulders completely hunched and rolled in. Like this. This is what your kid's doing when he's watching YouTube on the phone. Rolling his or her shoulders and being hunched over. This generation of kids is getting a thing called text neck, where their body is actually changing its formation, the spine, and it's becoming more hunched over because they're spending so many hours each day with a phone in their hands engaging with that phone. Dude, what the heck is happening? I mean, What happened to the days of riding your bicycle in the cul-de-sac and the thing you had to worry about was scuffing your knee when you fell off your 10-speed Huffy? Now kids are worrying about text necks, their spines changing formations because of their ample screen time in a virtual learning environment that is setting back a generation of children. Effing COVID, man. I got to get out of here. My name is Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille show. Thank you for joining us. We're back tomorrow. Tomorrow's show's good. Who do we have tomorrow? We got some good guests tomorrow. Good guest Friday. All right, I'm out. I Love CVille Daily Digest today at 5 o'clock. All your news. It's this entire show in 5 minutes or less is the I Love CVille Daily Digest. Take care. Have a good afternoon. Dude, text neck is a real thing.